To this day, over 5 years after your passing, I am tormented by one overriding question. Why? For many, drinking can be used as a coping strategy to deal with the stresses and strains of life. Too often, this leads to overconsumption. What scientists don't yet understand is why similar situations do not create similar stress responses in different people. Some people are able to find ways of coping which don't involve drinking to excess. For others, these same circumstances feel beyond their control, and abusing alcohol provides the escape that they crave. But what makes the difference? Researchers hypothesize that part of the answer could reach back to a person's early childhood. Numerous animal studies show a link between a lack of close parental bonding during infancy and a greater alcohol consumption in later life. This would leave some individuals more sensitive to stress and perhaps more susceptible to alcohol abuse. Risk factors are not determiners. Just because a person experiences a stressful childhood does not guarantee that they will abuse alcohol. If they are able to learn healthy coping skills or possess a strong social support network, then alcohol abuse is not a foregone conclusion. You never seemed willing to open up about your childhood or anything that perhaps you felt would expose an inner vulnerability in you, as you might have viewed it as a weakness, a flaw, or something to be ashamed of. Perhaps, like me, you preferred to keep your inner demons a secret, held deep inside of you, so that no one would ever be able to find them buried in the very depth of your soul. Unfortunately, though, secrets do have a tendency to appear and expose themselves, even if, and especially if, you do not want them to. Yes, you certainly weren't the first person to ever like a drink. The problem was that it wasn't just 1 or 2 drinks a day, or even at a time. It was constant, incessant drinking, 7 days a week. There was no let-up, and every day you were poisoning your body more and more to enable you to deal with life. What is so ironic is that the more you thought it was actually helping you to cope, the more it was slowly killing you. Could you see this, or had you become blinded to the facts? Or maybe you were scared, frightened of what a sober life might entail, and you didn't like the picture it painted in your head. The more you drank, the further it took you back from actual reality. And then there was your denial. Denial is a characteristic distortion in thinking experienced by people with alcoholism. It is an integral part of the disease and a major obstacle to recovery. People have various levels of awareness of their alcohol problems, which means that they are in different stages of readiness in changing their behaviour. But many individuals with alcoholism persist in denying their problem, and typically the more severe the addiction, the stronger the denial. The power of their denial may be so strong that it carries over to their family, and convincing them that the problem is something other than it actually is: weak health, bad luck, depression, a tendency to be worried and preoccupied, a mean temper, and other possible numerous issues. The stigma of alcoholism and the many myths that have merged to form a distorted portrait of people with alcoholism have contributed strongly to denial on both an individual and societal level. You always strongly denied that you were an alcoholic, and as your dependency increased, your temper worsened. In these moments, it would have been very unwise to have challenged you. Your personality and demeanour changed, but in some ways, it seemed very gradual. But now, looking back, it is actually incredibly shocking. Even comparing latter-day photographs to ones of you many years ago, you look like a very different person, almost like 2 different people. Older ones show you smiling and without the ravages of your alcohol dependency, and the latter images show a person absolutely consumed ravaged, devastated by your addiction. I have to confess that I've since destroyed the most recent photos of you. I just couldn't bear to even look at you, because in reality, it wasn't really you anymore. You had long since been destroyed. I had hoped, longed for you to somehow be able to overcome your demons. But as you continued to deny any issues with alcohol, I knew that ultimately I was fighting a losing battle, and this left me with a feeling of overwhelming sadness. To see your increasingly rapid deterioration was heartbreaking, and in the end, the value of your decline into the abyss was truly shocking. You appeared to lose all self-respect, humility, and in the end, hope, as your descent into a crumbling and rotting shell accelerated at an incredibly alarming and appalling rate. It was just a matter of time that was not on your side. Time that passed far too quickly until the final act was completed and the curtain came down on you and your life.